And I like to see Ken Wolf's travel logs because I get ideas. We get ideas. Okay, am I coming through all right? I'm happy for a couple of reasons and excited for several reasons. First, my co-pilot is here to help me out. And this journey to Peru and Ecuador with overseas travel, adventure travel, was a very emotional trip for a variety of reasons. And if you come in first Friday in January, that's when I do Ecuador and the Galapagos. And that will really be emotional. Today I might just cry a couple times. And I'm also excited because I've been an Apple Mac person all my life, and I have never done PowerPoint, ever done PowerPoint, and much less put a program together. So I had a neighbor that helped me out, and I picked it up. I can actually pick up stuff. And now I'm going to try this PowerPoint with this and see it all work. So Joyce and I went to in September. We left on September 2nd and got back on the 20th. And half of that time was in Peru, and the other half, a little less than half, was in Ecuador. Today is Peru, and we need to figure out how to pronounce. I know how to do Peru, and I know how to do Machu. So when I say Machu, what's the rest? Machu. That must be wrong. Have any of you ever been there? So this is all going to be brand new information because all my life I've said Machu just like you said it. But the very first thing that our host said, you got to learn how to say it right. Because Machu is old. You know, we're up there in an old mountain. It's old. Machu, and that's how you say it. Now let's try it again. Machu. Now you're hesitant, I can see. Okay, now we have students here, and it's a mixed group, so I got to watch what I say here. But let's just say that the way we said it, if you spoke Quechua, you would be laughing. Because what it really means is it's a male part. Old, you know what. So the way it's pronounced is think of picture. P-I-C is pick. That's how it starts. Pick. Not P, pick. Picchu. So Machu Picchu. Well, you said Old Mountain. We left Pennsylvania and we went down to Lima to start our trip, our two-country trip. And Lima is the capital of Peru. And that's quite a trip, but we won't go there. That was an adventure. How? Well, from Atlanta down was... I don't know anymore. Oh, wow. Some things we forget. But you don't change time zones much. So. We were in Atlanta because of stuff. And it was not a pretty picture. But anyway, I wasn't going to talk about that. Okay. So we went to Lima, and we were in Lima for a couple days. You have a point. I don't know how to do it, but there. Yeah. And then we went to Cusco. Lima is the capital of Peru. Cusco is the ancient capital of the Inca Empire. We're going to see more. And then Cusco is about 11,000. We're going to get into the height in a little bit. But then Machu Picchu is up here, and that's a different, we were there, close by there. We were here a number of days. And then we went up there in the Galapagos, but that's next month. Overseas adventure travel has a particular philosophy. I'll just mention this briefly. Good travel experience. The haute philosophy is using the five senses to learn and discover things about people and culture. They are unlike National Geographic or Rick Steves or some others, in that they don't do lectures. They do learn by doing and engaging in the culture. We're going to do a day in the life of the locals, well, several local experiences, home hosted experience. We didn't visit the school, and we did a controversial topic. I don't have time to get into it. It has to do with coca leaves and cocaine and the difference. And authentic and unique to our culture. It should be an emotional impact and should be life-changing, and it was. So that's philosophy. And here's our group in Lima. The first thing you got to do is get money. You don't go to a bank. You don't go to money changers because they charge a lot. You go to a street person that's licensed, and there's a particular corner in Lima where they all get together and they have all that money on them, and they'll change your dollars into, what is it called? Not sucres, that's Ecuador. Yeah, well, anyway, it's written down somewhere. So we got some money changed, and we had a ball. And oats, they only take 16. 14 were registered, and 2 got sick and didn't come. So there were 12 of us, which is a nice small group. Now here we are in Lima, and on the coast. And there's a whole lot of stuff you're not going to see because we don't have time. I don't have the pictures here. And so we tried, every couple tried to do that. So that's on the coast. That's Love Park. Yeah. Now the first cultural experience we're going to have here is a fishing village. Now, most tour groups, well, no tour groups don't go here because this is where poor people work, fisher folk work. There's an informal economy in Peru that about 42% of the economy of Peru is informal. It's off the books. It's off the grid, so to speak. It's not counted. And the way the government gets its money is through progressive income tax from 8 to 30%. So a lot of money changes hands that it's not even counted. So we were, we were 9, well, let's see. Okay, we're gonna, fisher folk went out in the morning, and here they are. Inside, there's a display of all kinds of fish. We were told what the names were, but I forget. We were told a lot of stuff. Just a lot of stuff I forget. We're going to see a video now of the market. That was a unique catch. That's one of the biggest stingrays they've ever seen there. Everything but the nose they eat. Now Scott speaks some Spanish, so
I could not hear what he was saying.
So I'll ask for your help at some point. So that's now here is a break, and they had cell phones, and it's welcome to the name of the fish market. Here are the fish nets. We spent about an hour at the fish market. Now we're going to go to Cusco, Get on an airplane, and we're going to go. Okay, we're going to talk about this a little bit because this frames the rest of the trip. Cusco is at 11,000 feet, and Cusco. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Now, we were at sea level at Lima, and Lima is off to the west. We almost went straight east and south a little bit to get to Cusco. Again, Cusco was the capital of the Inca Empire. We were here just long enough to get on a bus and start going north. And we're going to go to a weaving place here. We're going to see that in a little bit. And then we went to the Sacred Valley is all of this area here. And we went through all these towns on a bus. And we stayed overnight here, several nights. We're going to have a lot of experiences to see here in Urubamba. Yeah. And then we're going to get on a train here to go up to Aguascalientes. This is 9,000 feet, 9,000 plus, 9,000, 9,000, and we were at 11,000 all along here. And now we're going to go down to 6,700 at Aguascalientes, and it's Machu Picchu town also. That's what it's called. Here's Machu Picchu, and we take a bus ride here. It's real hairy. I mean, you know, it's just, you know. So that's visually what the rest of the program is going to be like. So here we are when the Spaniards came, they came the sword and the cross together. And they destroyed the Inca temples. And they killed people, and massacred people. And on top of those Inca temples, which were well built, they built less well built cathedrals and monasteries. This is a monastery. This is, let's see, what's that called? Convent of Santo Domingo. And
this wall here, the base of that, oh, where'd it go? The base of the wall, down here, down there is Incan building, and then on top of it was the Spanish monastery building.
Notice the architecture here and the stonework. It's very well made. In fact, the Inca walls, because of earthquakes, the Inca walls stood because they were kind of inward facing. But the Spaniards came and built monasteries straight up, and they would fall down. Here's the outside, and this is all Inca, and this is terraced, and up above is the cathedral or the monastery. Of course, this is modern stuff put to protect it. But we spent quite a bit of time in this area. So now we're on the bus leaving Cusco, and on our trip, we're above 11,000 feet now. And we stopped and we almost fell over with the lightheadedness. I mean, we hadn't been there long enough to get acclimated. It takes several days to acclimate, to get enough blood cells in your body to hold the oxygen you need.
What was the temperature?
Well, it was chilly. See the sweaters? It was sweater weather every night, and even during the day. It was 50s, 60s, 70s, but you could get sunburned real fast because you're way up high. So we took our hats off for that picture. A lot of sun lotion. And woman selling things. Cusco below. We stopped along the way to get some provisions. and people practice their Spanish. This gentleman here is a psychiatrist, and he and his wife, and I don't see his wife. Whoops, what happened there? Something happened. What did I do?
You pressed one of the buttons that I told you not to press. No.
Spanish, yes. Oh,
Okay.
Quechua is. Yeah.
Try not to touch these buttons down
Yeah.
here. Just those buttons there. Okay.
All right. When you get old, you get funny thumbs. Yeah, Quechua is spoken. Yes, all up and down the Inca Empire. People still speak Quechua, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Okay, I think I'm done with that slide. Okay, now we're at a weaving shop, and we are really. I mean, I had to put my hands on the side of a wall to walk straight, and I'm sitting down and. There's a town that has a lot of weaving shops, and they have alpacas and they have llamas, and they all have all kinds of animals that have fur, and you clip and you make things that I never heard of before. None of us did. We know what a llama is, and we know what an alpaca is. And by the way, alpaca, the difference is alpacas are smaller, and their fur, their wool is finer. In fact, this is made out of baby alpaca. Baby means the very first shearing of that young alpaca. This is what it's made out of. It is the softest and the nicest and all that. And by the way, this is the Inca calendar here. I can't decipher it, but if I want to know what day it is or time, somebody knows, but I can't. So, she is going to tell us about, she's got baby alpaca wool there, and there are alpacas of various colors.
More than 20 colors, in natural colors, between brown, gray, black, and white. All is natural hair, no dye in here. Okay? It means you are going to see alpacas in all these colors. Okay? Why we call baby alpaca? Any idea? We call baby alpaca because it's the first shoe, the first cutting for the first time. Yes, baby alpaca. That's why we call baby alpaca.
Now, we also, they showed us how to make the thread, and they showed us how to dye the thread, and here's a weaving. I cut out all those slides because I didn't know if I was going to have time. But it's from the wool to the finished product, all in this space. All of the dyes are natural, either plant-based or there are little insects that if you squeeze them, they get a red color. So you have to kill a lot of little insects to get all that red. And they did that right in front of us. And we left behind some things that are runners. And okay, this we went outside, and this is where they get all the material from. And Joyce is feeding. Any questions about what you just saw?
Are those smaller ones alpacas and the larger ones llamas? Are they all?
I think we're different ones. but
They're
this-
all different.
This one's alpaca,
Yeah.
and that one up There's a llama.
The taller ones. Yeah, llamas are tall, a lot taller and a lot bigger, and their wool is coarser. Now, I just read that they're trying to interbreed these llamas. But they're all from the camel family. They're trying to interbreed them to make the alpaca wool, the llama wool, even finer. But for now, it's the alpaca that you want, not the llama. Yeah, the llamas do. But see, they're different. They have different characteristics in their personality. So you got to know what you're dealing with. Some are a piece of burden and some aren't so much. Some you ride and some you don't. What was that? Yeah. You've had experience with that? You want to tell a story? Okay, now we are in, we're going to go to a market here. This is a big, big, big market. And all of the vendors here speak Quechua and Spanish. We'll get.
How was the coffee?
The coffee story is Galapagos story. There's no coffee story here. And those of you that are visiting, I do coffee. Well, I do. That's another story. So, mostly the women were vendors. And let's see, there are, I tried, there are about 3,000 or 4,000, and the experts had differed on this, types of potatoes in Peru. Potatoes are originated in Peru, and there are 55 varieties of corn, and corn originated in Mexico. So we're seeing some potatoes there. Now, our guide is Peruvian. Her name was Belle. And she wanted us to have a cultural experience. And so she passed, we had a contest. She passed out little slips of paper to all of us. And there were 2 items there that we had to buy using Spanish. And since I know Spanish and another couple they knew Spanish, we got it in Quechua. So, and then they had the pronunciation up there. And we're going to buy 2 of something or 3 of something, dos or tres or whatever. And we weren't supposed to show them what we were reading from so that they would help us. They had to know what we wanted to buy from what we said. And the first couple that got done got a prize. We were in the third one. I thought we did well, but we didn't. So there we are. I'm trying to speak Quechua. And we're buying, and what we bought were greens and avocados, as I recall. Okay, and we all got bags to put our stuff in, and it was, and then this was in the morning, and then at noon we had a family that hosted us, and we brought the food, and we prepared a meal together, and we ate it together, and it was a home experience. Now, Overseas Adventure Travel is around the world, and they have a foundation, a charitable foundation. And because it's a people-to-people thing and a cultural thing, they have opportunity to see need, just like Rotary. So their foundation, the woman in the back, let's see, what's her name, Tatiana? That's mom, and that's grandma, and there are 3 girls. She has Down syndrome. The 2 older girls are off studying today. Otherwise, they would have been there. the mother is Tanya. Um, it's unfortunate, but you know, Latin America is a pretty chauvinistic place, and men have two households sometimes. So in this case, a man had two households, two women and two sets of children, and the man chose the other woman. So this woman with three young kids, this is a part of her story, with three young children, were poor. They lived try as best they could, and there was a big flood, and they were wiped out. And so Oates people, they saw, I mean, they provided a home and they got them settled, and so they've been in contact with them ever since. So now the kids are growing up somewhat. Grandma moved in, and it's a family that is still very modest, and we go there with food, and they do this with other groups that Oates brings in, and we work at it together. So here we are presenting a food that we're going to eat. Now this, of course, is a stone grinder, and we're making salsa, hot salsa. John, you would love this. I mean, it was really hot. And there's hot peppers, and there's tomatoes, and there's onions, and I'm trying my best to do it. But now we're going to see how it's really done. This is Tanya. She's the mother, and we're going to have a little conversation. This is where I'm going to need your Spanish, Scott. ¿Cómo se llama comida?
Quechua le decimos puchucuta.
Es caliente, picante.
Es picante, una salsa en batán.
Sí.
Le decimos. Ingredientes de socoto, guacamole, cilantro, salsa tomate, sal, maní, y luego lo molemos.
¿En qué manera vamos a usarlo?
Vamos a comerlo en la sopa, que vamos a servir luego en el arroz, la yuca, en la tortilla.
Muchísimas gracias. All right. What?
What I caught when she was describing how to make the salsa, I caught tomatoes, I caught cilantro, and some type of pepper. Couldn't tell
Hot peppers.
Hot peppers. And she said it was very, very hot salsa.
Yeah.
And that she was talking about some sort of soup and or putting it on tortillas or putting on something else. I couldn't catch what she was.
Huevos, eggs.
Okay.
And and other things. So great, thank you. Now Joyce and I are working with Grandma to cut things. She's telling us what to do. Oh, and the knives were they were horrible. They needed sharpening. But we did our best. Guinea pig. Guinea pig is a delicacy. You only have guinea pig when you are honoring people, and it's but guinea pig. I mean, the Incas were mostly vegetarian, except for guinea pig. We're going back thousands of years, so that's really a tradition. And I ate guinea pig in Ecuador when I lived there, also. But we won't talk about that anymore.
If you recall, when we were in Ecuador with Rotary, we went
Yes.
to a place that had guinea pig on the steak.
Yes. And as I recall, you got sick.
No, not from that.
Oh.
From the corn that they soaked in the blood.
Oh, okay.
You're not supposed to drink the blood. I didn't drink the water, but I ate
Oh. All these years, I thought you got sick from guinea pig.
My youngest daughter had guinea pigs, and I took a picture of it and sent it to her and said, if you don't clean the cage, this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
My daughter lives on a guinea pig farm right now. And she, as an honored guest, but she has now probably had guinea pig at least 5 times from the last count because she's an honored guest. So she's had it many, many times, and it's right at the source of where they grow it, raise it.
And she's in Cuenca,
Outside of Cuenca.
outside of Cuenca, where some of us in Rotary were at. We're in Cuenca for a day.
And it tastes like chicken.
Yes.
What does it taste like? Chicken. She said,
I don't think it tastes like chicken.
Well, here we are now. What you didn't see are pictures of serving it and going back in the kitchen and getting stuff and bringing them out. And there's a window, I'm in a mirror at the other end. But there we are, eating together. Various dishes. And they're home. Okay, now we're going to start a whole new process here. We're getting ready to go to Machu Picchu. And this is early in the morning of the day we're going to go. We're going to arrive there at about 2 in the afternoon till 5. This is a curandero. Curar is to heal in Spanish. And it's a curandero. It's a medicine man, South Andean medicine man. And from little up, he has been trained in the art of healing. And it's holistic healing. It's for the body, mind, soul, spirit, and nature, and global connection, and humanity. And then we're going to go to the Machu Picchu. And we are giving thanks. He is leading us in a ceremony to give thanks for the opportunity to do that. And so we're offering to Pachamama. That's the deity associated with fertility and Mother Earth, Pachamama. And the ceremony, again, it's a gratitude to Mother Earth for the opportunity to visit. And in a minute, we're going to see 3 coca leaves. Now, coca is grown in the jungle, and it's for chewing. The Incas have done this forever, for the high altitudes. It's like drinking coffee to stimulate you and give you energy. And we learned that it becomes cocaine when bad people get a hold of it and bring in a lot of chemicals and use slave labor. The chemicals kill them, but that happens in the jungle. But there are whole areas of the jungle where, I'm telling you a story we're not going to talk about today, where the farmers grow coca leaves for use daily for all the Andean native peoples. Okay, so we're all sitting in a semicircle, and Bell is going to explain what is happening. Well, he has brought in leaves, plants, food, money, things that bring life, offering to the Pachamama. By the way, can you hear?
Try it again.
When we want to ask for permission to go to an important place, like in this case is Machu Picchu. So we're going to Machu Picchu today, and the important apple, we call apus, A-P-U, so the spirit of the mountain. That means in Quechua, the spirit of the mountain, apple. So we're going to go to the Apu Machu Picchu, and so that's why also we have this special ceremony. So when when we go to the special place, we do this. So the local people, we do this. Juan Pablo shared with us so these 3 leaves of coca. Okay, and also he put in the bottom part the fat of the llama fat. Okay, so in the ancient times, that was a very important element for in the offerings, so the fat of the animals. And he put a little bit of this fat here in these leaves, and three leaves. What represents 3? So according to our Andean cosmovision, so we believe that the universe, so the earth and our life is divided in 3 levels. So the underworld, which is our inner world, our psyche. So that is represented by the snake. Okay? So a snake is an animal in the ancient times was an animal, so that represents wisdom. So the second level in the middle, so that our present words, our present bodies, our lives here. So in our present lives, and that is represented by the puma, this Andean puma, so that this animal can live in sea level and over 15,000. That represents our strength in our life. So the next level, the upper level, that's our spiritual level, so represented by the condor. Okay? This is a big flying bird, so that is the messenger of this level to the upper level, to the spiritual level. Okay? So remember this, the Alien trilogy, the snake, puma, and condor. Always the number 3 is special, and when you see like a step, like 3 steps, so that represents Mother Earth. Okay? The symbol of the Mother Earth. So Juan Pablo shared with us this 3 leaves, and the idea so is to put our own offering, our personal offering, inside of the main one, and so you can leave all your thoughts in this. Please get up. So the idea, one by one. So the idea to leave this offering here is put all your thoughts in this little offering. So whatever is not working in your life, physically or mentally or whatever, it's not working in your life or in someone or anything that person around you, so leave it here. So if you want to ask for something, so leave it here. If you want to thank for something in your life, also leave it here. So when we put this offering, so in the main one, so Pachamama is going to take all of these thoughts, and is later on is going to transform these energies in good ones. So the idea is to reborn in a new life. So with this offering, so transmute, transform for the energies. Okay? That's the idea. One by one, we're going to approach to Juan Pablo to give our offering.
Okay, they finished there, and then he burned the offering and he put the remains inside this cloth, and he blessed each one of us. And here is the end of the ceremony. Now, I didn't know quite what was going to happen, and well, I'll go for the interest. But it was a meaningful thing. What happened there? We all were very touched by it. And there we are. Since I'm the tallest guy there, anyway, I got one of his hats. Well, he took it back. Now we get on a train, and we you know, in the map you saw the train going to Machu Picchu town. Picchu town. So we were there in the evening or the afternoon, and then we were there in the morning. And all of the pictures I'm going to show being there are all mixed up. I mean, so now this is the train. We've arrived at the station of Machu Picchu, and now we're going to take a bus, and we're going to go to Machu Picchu itself. And that was a hair-raising bus. There were no guardrails. And I have some video, but you'd all get sick going around these corners, so I didn't show that. But it's a long way down. And here is the entrance. You have to have a timed ticket to get in. You can't just show up and go. You can go yourselves with a couple other people. And some people, they hiked up there. The way to go, though, is a small group with a tour guide that knows. So you're timed and you go in. Now, this is the Inca Empire, all the way from Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, all the way down to Chile. And Argentina, yeah. Now, let's see. The Inca Empire lasted about 100 years. That lasted 100 years. Now, it was formed and created, but in terms of Cusco as the head and the series of runners and how they, you know, they distributed the Quechua language, that was 100 years, from the middle of the 14th century, 1400s rather, to the 1500s, and it ended when Pizarro killed Atahualpa. And so it was, the head was destroyed. Also, it might have been an issue of diseases, and you know, the Spaniards brought diseases, and there was some internal fighting among the Quechua people. So we're going around the corner now, and here we are. Machu Picchu. Now you'll see we're on metal grates. That's to keep the soil in place. Thousands of visitors here every year. Keep the soil in place and the grass growing. Hiram Bingham discovered or rediscovered this place in 1438, and he was an archaeologist, from the United States, and a scientist, and he became a senator as well. But anyway, his main thing as a scientist, see, there had been people from maybe Germany here a couple centuries earlier, but he was an archaeologist and he wanted to explore the place, and so he brought in all kinds of people, and the rest is history. Now we have thousands of tourists. It's windy. Exploration continuing. Now notice there are no roofs. Well, the thatched roofs, There are some that they have roofs on them that were built, that made recently. Here is a picture when Hiram Bingham came on the scene. This is what he saw. It was overgrown and so forth. What happened?
Hold on a second here. Okay, keep going. Nope. Something locked up. Hold on a second, Ralph. Bam, fill the time.
Well, you know what, let me talk about the terraces. You see these terraces? That was incredible how those terraces were built originally so that the side of the mountain didn't get washed out. They got a lot of rain, and so they built these terraces with the big rocks at the bottom and smaller ones, and then sand, and then soil. And then they would grow food on those terraces, and it also prevented the mountainside from washing away. So I was impressed by the architecture
Yes.
and the engineering of that.
The Incas were tremendous architects and astronomers and engineers. John, you would have loved the engineering acumen of this place. And they had aquifers and they had canals and channels that.
Try it. There you go. Try it again.
Oh,
Okay, I think we're back in business.
yeah, this is a picture of a painting of what it might have looked like when there were, things happening. Again, the grid to hold things together. That's a watchman's tower there to watch for people coming up. By the way, the Spaniards never got up here, and that's why it wasn't destroyed. The elites lived here. About 500 people lived here, and the servants and workers came in from below, but they were sworn to secrecy upon fear of death if they ever told that they were up here. But it was a self-sustaining community. Again, the terracing, as Joyce is pointing out, those terraces were deep. They had rocks at the bottom, and then sand, and then subsoil, and then topsoil that they brought in from various places down below. And the water would come down and filter through. It was just very scientifically accurate. I think that's an aquifer right in, okay. Okay. A little closer to the exploration, flowers. We were there for a sundown. I like to take pictures looking through things. More terraces. That's the aquifer there. I think maybe, there's that little house up there again. There it is again. Another.
Wait a minute, you're going.
Did I go back?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Thank you. That's underneath the tarp. They found some skeletons down there. Well, here we are on this narrow ledge. That's one of my favorite pictures. It just doesn't end. Workers come to take away the foliage, overgrowth. This is the Temple of the Sun. And one of the, I forget, I don't know whether that's a fall, or winter, or summer equinox. This Temple of the Sun.
Way up top, but below it is a representation of the condor.
And there's the condor. There's the condor's head, and the wings on either side up there. Well, there we're going up, and it's steep, and we're at 9,000. No, we're about 8,000 feet here. Machu Picchu is lower than a whole lot of the other places we've been, and it's just we needed as us old people, we needed those. So I like to take pictures through these openings. Now we're about done. Our guide Belle, she had us run around the back to do this. And here's the last picture. Again, 12 of us plus B. Now, Belle, excuse me, I'm sorry. She is Peruvian.
And she grew up in Cusco.
She grew up in Cusco. Her the fellow that was the healer is Peruvian. They are both, of course, they are both dedicated Catholics, and they go to mass every Sunday. But they also embrace. It's called what do you call it? Syncretic religion. They put Catholicism and syncretism together, and so there we are. We have a variety of people there, from teachers to psychiatrists to dentists. So questions?